Well, hello out there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us from. I'm Annette Richmond. This is the Smarter Career and Business Moves show. And I am so excited to have you here with me today. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Vamsi?
Vamsi.
Vamsi. So I met you sometime last year, kind of through Brendan. I attended one of his coaching calls, and you were partnering and doing that with him. And so I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today, particularly about this topic. So, for anyone who does not know you, can you please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. First of all, great to be here, Annette. Thanks for doing this. My name is Vamsi Polmetla. I know some of you know me, some of you never heard about my name. How I'm going to be introducing myself is I'm a student, always learning from every person that I'm meeting, their experiences. And what I'm doing also aligned with who am I. I'm also a teacher. I try to simplify what I'm learning and share with the people so that way they can take clear and the concise action towards that, whatever that they're planning on achieving.
Well, thank you so much for choosing this topic that we have today about having that leadership, our leader mindset. And I know that you run a mastermind group. That's one of the things you do, and I do. I love that idea. To my knowledge, that originated with Napoleon Hill, and he wrote about it in his book Think and Grow Rich. I was actually in a mastermind group myself, like 20 something years ago, before it was kind of a buzzword that everybody was doing. Someone in a women's business group I belong to read the book and brought it to us. So I'd like if you can just talk a little bit about, because I think people hear mastermind group and a lot of people, they don't know what that is. They're not quite sure. Can you kind of explain what is a mastermind group and why it is so powerful?
100%. So mastermind is not something which is new to all of us. We've been masterminding it since we are younger. Maybe in elementary school, we always started surrounding with the people that we are surrounded with. When it comes to careers, you always spend time with your team members. You always spend time with maybe your managers, your colleagues. And the difference between you spending time and consciously you're choosing time with the people who are on the same path or who are in a level maybe one step ahead of you. So this is a slight difference. The masterminding concept came from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And it's all about you become who you surrounded with. If you surrounded with the 5 people who are always gossiping about what's going on in the corporate, and you become the 6th one. You surround with the people who always talk about, oh, where I'm going tonight for happy hour, where I'm just maybe spending my evening. You become the 6th one. You get that into your system. Whereas you spend time with who are going for marathons. You spend time with who are creating businesses. You're spending time with the people who are mastering certain skills. You become the person as well. So that's always a reminder of where you are consciously spending time. And the best time to, I think, do this when we are younger. Again, there is no age limit. Whether you are 20 or 70, always ask this question: who are the people that I wanted to be spending time with? and start spending like maybe 60, 90 minutes a week with them. And that way you can definitely 10x your game, if not like 100x in couple of years. And one
Yeah,
simple
I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, one simple example, Annette, is let's say you have one red apple and I have one green apple, and we are exchanging these apples. So you give your red apple to me, I give my green apple to you. End of the day, we both still have only one apple. Whereas in terms of masterminding, you have one idea and your colleague in the mastermind got a different idea, and you exchange ideas. At the end of the day, you both are going to have two ideas. Just imagine you surrounded with maybe 10, 15, 20 people who are thinking in the same way. I really wanted to go to the next level. I really wanted to create something big in my life. And you get those ideas into your life from them, their experiences, their failures. It's going to be priceless.
Yeah, I love that idea because that is so true. And it can even be things like in a personal life, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are negative all the time and complaining all the time, then you can sort of fall into that too. It is who you surround yourself with. But I did look a little bit on your mastermind, and it seems that to focus a lot of sort of individual growth as well as business growth, with the support of the tribe, which you call a tribe, which I love. Can you talk a little bit about why knowing ourselves is so important to our business growth and career growth perhaps as well?
Right. A lot of people, they come to me and the intention is, Vamsi, I wanted to scale my business. Vamsi, I wanted to scale my career. And before I go into business strategies and career strategies or any tactics, I always ask them, have you ever thought about scaling yourself? And say, what do you mean by scaling myself? So that is where all the magic start happening. And it, like the moment you start looking in the mirror and see who is coming into the picture, like into the mirror, and are you really trying to scale that person up? Because you cannot scale your business, you cannot scale any of the things that you are thinking about until you scale yourself first. So understanding who you are truly, and identifying what are your strengths, what are the things that you really wanted to be doing it. Most of the time, unfortunately, many people, they come to me and come to like many coaches. They really think they wanted to achieve something, but the moment when we start looking deeper into their why, the reason that they wanted to achieve, not because they really want it, because somebody else achieved in their neighborhood, and that's the reason I wanted to be a vice president of this company. But are you really wanted to be a vice president? No, I really wanted to be independent, doing something on my own terms. So everything like will start changing the moment they understand more about themselves, and that's where all the magic happens.
So, can I ask you to delve a little bit deeper into that because I find that so fascinating. I think knowing ourselves is so important. I mean, I went back and studied psychology, after I got my English degree because I find it not only interesting but really valuable. Can you share some say if it was me, maybe a couple of things that I would want to general things that could relate to people who would be watching this maybe in the replay or listening to it on my podcast?
Sure, 100%. The very first step I recommend all of my clients, or maybe people who wanted to work with me,
Mhm.
before even I say yes to them, I ask them to write down 10 things that they want from their life. This is like a hardest question they ever answer, because when I put a number 10, oh my God, like I want 10,000 things, like not 10. Okay, you need to just write down 10. The moment you complete 10, you're done. You feel really like a fulfilled. Every single day after that, it's going to be a bonus day for you. Do you have the list of those 10 things? And the moment you start spending time, you are, oh, this is not my top 10. I think this is like maybe not even like in my top 10, right? So you get more clear about what exactly that you wanted to be doing. So that clarity is going to help everyone to identify what exactly like they wanted to have in their life.
Yeah, I love that. So I think, and I was thinking about this before our conversation as I was looking at your website and learning, a bit more about your program, that it seems that also that it's that not only helps you, understand where you're going, but to have that focus and to have a group around you, to have a combination of sort of focus and accountability. That's also an important component. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Right, yeah. So when you are on your own, you are going to tell so many excuses to avoid the things. Oh, it's cold outside. I've been like busy working on this project. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it maybe after this work week. So many things. When you are surrounded with the people who are always like trying to push you, who are always trying to remind you of your future. There are two types of people, Annette, in our life. People who are always remind us about our past, where we are, where we've been, and the things. And one type of people, I call them growth friends, always talk about our future. Hey, Annette, you said you wanted to be the best podcast host in the podcast history. What are you doing this week to become that person? That one question completely put all other things going on in your mind. 90% of them are noise, like it's not required. Put into a different bucket. This is not I'm thinking about. I wanted to focus on this. So you surrounded with those people will bring lot of energy, lot of momentum, and you are the one end of the day doing the work, not someone else, right? If you want
Mhm.
to get those six pack, you need to go to gym and do those reps. The same way for success as well. But you are going to be doing it intentionally because you got that proximity with you.
Yeah, I understand that. And I will say that I've been in the career field for like 20 something years, and I've been done recruiting and taught at the university, writing and all kinds of different things. But when I started sort of my resume writing business, which has evolved into, more of a personal branding, um, I was very lucky to have a group of other resume writers, all more experienced than me, many of whom I had known for a while, and I was invited into this group. And it was so absolutely incredible. And you were talking about the idea of having people kind of steps ahead of you. And I'll never forget, when I started, I was very nervous about, say, working with senior level executives because, oh my goodness, they're executives, and now they're mostly my clients. But um, and I'll never forget one of the other the women in this group, because it was all women, said to me, "Well, just imagine if you were this person's only option, because you can do it, and you just have to think of you are their option." And I worked with that client, and it really helped to boost my confidence. And so I'm thinking that that's besides sharing ideas, that it can really help to boost the confidence if you're in a group like that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And somebody said this so beautifully, and imagination is more important than your intelligence. And when you surround with the people, they are doing more than you. You are start thinking differently. You
Hmm.
start visualizing your future differently. How can a 21-year-old kid making $1 million a year and living wherever I'm like, I got 20 plus years of experience. I'm more talented. I'm more knowledgeable than that kid. So there is a possibility here. So that's how, like, maybe when I go to conferences, I meet so many people. They're a lot younger, a lot successful. It's not about material things, and also what is possible. What am I missing on the table? And those kind of things that I get it, and I help other people to get when they join my mastermind, either in person or maybe in a live virtual environment.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And I like the idea, and it sounds like you're saying also that it's not necessarily age. I mean, when I was a magazine writer and I got that position, at the time, my boss, it was a small publication, had to be at least 10 years younger than me. but so far older and wiser than me in knowledge and experience. And I'm wondering how with the mastermind group that you when you run them, do you look for people of different ages, different backgrounds to sort of, mix things up and have a diverse group? Is that something that's important?
Yeah, I call age is pretty much made up things. I always tell myself I'm 21 years old. So this is something like I always say to all of my clients and say, you can never compete with me because I'm always 21. So one thing, the one quality that I look from people, Annette, is burning desire and hunger. They really wanted to do something with their life. That's, I think, like the currency that I look for. And rest all, if I see them, that in them, and I think like you're a right fit. Doesn't matter how old you are, you can still make the next 70 years because of advancements in AI, and that's going into healthcare. We're all going to be living really long, more than any of the generation before, right? So that's we have like long careers ahead of us, and we can't go back and change whatever happened until this point, but we can start creating magical moments starting here from this moment onwards. And the real currency I look for is the hunger, and they really wanted to do something.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Thank you. And now I know that, obviously you run a mastermind group. I know you have an in-person retreat, and I'm assuming that you have virtual groups going on. And I know that there are other people who also run, that type of a mastermind group. But, you know, um, being part of some of a mastermind group with you or another coach is not necessarily an option for everyone. Maybe they're just, in their career and they can't make it, or they don't have the funds or whatever to invest. So, can you give us a few steps or techniques for someone who might be listening to this and say, this sounds really powerful and I would like to have that in my life, but I don't know where to get started? Can you share some tips on kind of how to get started and how to maybe choose people to be part of your group and how many, or just some advice would be really helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. So, very first thing that I share with all of my clients in the mastermind group, I share with everyone. You can also apply that. The number one skill, number one muscle that you need is trust. You need to start trusting yourself. There are many ways, there are many tactics, there are many exercises that we do, part of like the entire year of mastermind. But if you build that muscle well, you can handle anything. 90% of the people, they fail, they stop, they procrastinate. At one point they believe internally, I'm not the one going to be doing this, I can't do this, I'm not capable of doing it, I'm not good enough. All those things will come to their mind because of their lack of trust. So you can build trust in many ways. Every single day, just come up with the three things that you wanted to achieve by that day, by the time you complete that day, and write down those three things. Not 20 things, not 25, not 40, just three things. It could be, I just wanted to sit in a silence for 5 minutes. That simple it is. And I wanted to drink maybe 2 liters of water today, or maybe half a gallon of water today. And those three things, end of the day, just spend 5 minutes and reflecting back on how you executed those three things. By the time you complete that for 30 days, you start building a component called trust inside of your mind. You are telling what you're supposed to, what you wrote down on the paper on a consistent basis. And that is how you build, and you will definitely see yourself in a different level. This is like one of million things I can share, but I think this is the best and easy one. It is not going to cost anything. You don't have to join any mastermind. Create that audit list, three things that you wanted to complete, and end of the day, just put a check mark and reflect on how did you feel after completing that. And the next day morning, maybe you can ask, what else I can do, the three things next day, or maybe repeat the same things if you don't have anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So are you saying that keeping yourself accountable, can build that confidence?
Absolutely, absolutely. You for example, Annette, like you're working for a boss. Let's pretend that you're in the corporate, and
Mhm.
you're really hardworking, and your boss said, Annette, you're doing pretty good job. I'll give you uh, a bonus in March. And you get super excited, and you start even working even harder. You're spending like extra 4 or 5 hours every week on the project. And March comes, nothing happens. And in May, your boss comes at, you're working pretty good. I'm still working on your bonus. You'll get it in June. And you are even like excited. Yeah, my boss is not ignoring me. And June comes, nothing happens. In July, your boss says that you're still doing good. You'll get your bonus by end of this year. End of this year, nothing happens. How would you trust your manager at that point?
Ah,
You
oh,
don't
yeah,
you you don't believe what that person is saying. You start like maybe seeing that I don't think like maybe I work under this management,
yeah.
right? So that manager is sitting inside of our mind. We are telling ourselves on regular basis, I wanted to get up at 5 o'clock and go to gym, but you've been telling that you'll go in the spring. It's so cold outside, it's snow. You need to heat your car. By the time you go to gym, it's like really you're going to have a long day. And in the spring comes, you've been working very hard, get rest this week. And in the fall, you're repeating the same story. So the manager that is controlling our thoughts, the person, the soul, is going to lose trust on that person. That's how we become like addicted to, oh, I think I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this mentality.
Wow. Wow, that is such a fabulous lesson. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, and it is true that it's so easy to and I will say that I am guilty of that. I was pretty good exercising. I had foot surgery last April, and I wasn't able to do anything for like 3 or 4 months. I mean, I just couldn't get my foot was swollen and whatever. And since then, I have not gotten back into it because, as I'm sure you know, it's difficult once you break the habit to get back into it. And and it is sort of a self-fulfilling sort of failure for me that I'm not doing it. And it is that whole thing. I love that story. I so appreciate you sharing that. I feel like you're like sometimes when I have people on my show, I feel like they're just, giving me a coaching session. So I really appreciate that. So I like to ask the people that I talk to, what do you like best about what you do?
Constant learning is something that I always enjoy. That is one of my core values as well. Never stop improving myself. Always learn something new. And every time when I go to a conference, when I meet somebody, even like you, right now in this the podcast, I'm learning something from you, your experience, your stories that you are sharing. So always like the learning is something I enjoy, and I think it's going to be with me for until my last day.
Yeah, I love that. I actually had someone on my show, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And the topic was curiosity. And it was the whole idea of having that curiosity about other people and about just sort of life in general can kind of really fuel, your success, business, personal success.
Yeah, yeah, always, yeah. It's also like important, like you need to understand what are your core values. What are the things that you strongly believe that's true in your life, and you need to just build everything around those things. And the moment you are not clear about your core values, the moment you are not clear about your priorities in your life, you always like go and work for somebody or maybe work on something on somebody else's priority. So always keep your priorities first before you do anything. It doesn't mean that you have to quit your job. It doesn't mean that you have to completely like go in a different direction from tomorrow. You can start building that momentum inch by inch. Maybe spend 30 minutes every day. Maybe in the weekend spend like a 1 hour towards your priorities. And we all have time. A lot of times I hear this from a lot of successful people. Vamsi, what do you think about me? I'm like a busy executive. I've been working 60 hours a week. I don't have time to do all these things. And that's also a simple answer. Do you really want to stay there? Do you really want to spending 40, 50, 60 hours on the stuff that you don't enjoy? Or you wanted to give yourself a permission, like maybe 2, 3 hours a week, starting something, practicing something, maybe your communication skills. You have something, a deeper message inside of you, how you take that message and start sharing with the world, maybe writing a book, maybe practicing in particular instrument, playing that, or yeah, many ways that they can bring the value.
Yeah, that is true. I often I'm guilty of this myself, and I know other people. We think we're busy, busy, busy. We're busy, busy, busy all the time, but what are we actually accomplishing? And there are so many things that you can be busy doing that aren't necessarily moving towards the things that you really, really want.
Absolutely.
So our time together is winding down, and we've talked about I think a bunch of different things. But is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to share that you think is important for people to know?
One thing I would like to share, and that is anytime you're thinking about something, start before you are ready. I want to repeat that again. Start before you are ready. Always people I saw they're waiting for the perfect moment, perfect opportunity, perfect weather to do something. No, start right now. This is the right time. The best time to do that, whatever that you're thinking about, a long ago, and the second best time is now. And it's never too late. Start today and continue tomorrow. And see if possible, try to improve tomorrow 1% better than today. By end of this year, you're not only just completing that, you're going to be lot better than where you are starting today.
Yeah, I love that, and thank you for sharing that. And are you open to connecting with people on LinkedIn? Where can people find you and learn more about you?
Yeah, they can search my name, Vamsi.Polmetla, on LinkedIn. And I have also a website called www.vamsi.coach. They can find me there. The best place is LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn, and they can search my name. And I searched a couple of times. There are no other Vamsi Polymetlas on the LinkedIn, which is good so far, unless like maybe somebody creates an account.
Well, you're so lucky for that, because I will tell you, and people do, we think that our name is our name and it's not out there. And there are so many Annette Richmonds. I actually have a sister-in-law whose name is Annette Richmond, if you can believe that. So it's just you never you never really know. And there are a couple of Annette Richmonds who are also like very active on social media. So you have to think about that. Well, I thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate your time. I will be checking this, going back and listening to parts of this again, because you shared so much valuable information. And so thank you. Thank you so much. And for everyone else out there, have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely.